is spring break. So.
Hell yeah!
Woo! Miami's where I grew up, so I'm glad I get together with all my high school buddies once a year, and that's a dangerous idea. Yeah, okay, so first I want to go over what would be some ideas for how to improve your odds of getting an A or B in this class. Let's see if we can talk about improving your odds. What has worked for you so far in this class that has been, what's your number one strategy to do good in this class? What now? Nope. I'm pretty generous on the nook card thing. Do you have any other instructors who let you do that? Wow, see how nice I am? But what I want to say is please attend class. Now you guys are the ones who are here the day before spring break. Yeah, I can't even type this today. I'm just anticipating tomorrow. What's funny is, usually I have pretty good ratings on Rate My Professor, but every once in a while I look out there and I had this really scorching rating. Of course, everything the person said was true. He said, you know, this is a hard class. Yeah, I know. The tests are really hard. Yeah, I know. He doesn't give us notes, he just goes to class. Yeah, I know. Well, everything he said was true, but I got like a 1.0 or something for my rating. I was crushed. I still didn't affect my overall rating though. So I just wanted to talk about what you can do. You got to attend class. If you're not in class, and I'm going to be honest with you, that's one of the reasons I don't give PowerPoint and I don't give you guys notes. I remember I was teaching computer science 2 one semester, and like all of a sudden one day I forgot my slides back in the office or something. So I taught without slides. And for whatever reason, they got it a lot better without the slides. I thought, you know, I'm going to stop using slides the rest of the semester and see what happens. And all of a sudden, they got it a lot better without the slides. So in this class, I make sure I don't use slides. And I'm always available during office hours. Jim has his office hours. Johan has his SI tutoring sessions. I did last Wednesday night. By the way, I gave you the prime problem last Wednesday night, in case you weren't paying attention. I gave it to you. So if you missed it on the test, figure out a different strategy. All right, come to class. You have to conscientiously do your homework. Don't just slap it together and turn it in at 11:59. Plus, a lot of you have figured out that the web course is actually pretty flaky. So if you try to upload it at 11:59, chances are you're going to miss it or whatever. But the thing is, the homework is a large part of your learning experience. Do you know, studies have shown, do you know how much of your learning happens in class here? What percentage of your learning happens in class? Don't say none. That's on the low side. Studies have shown that like 20% of your learning happens in class. Now, I could be the best lecturer in the world or whatever, but still 20% is not what you learn. Most of your learning happens when you do your homework. So I want to encourage you to take a lot of time to be really conscientious about your homework, okay? So conscientiously do your homework. Office hours. Me, Tim, SI tutoring, test reviews. There's the SARC tutoring too. I don't know what the hours are, but you can get that on the website. Also, just generic people. Told you I could type today. People in the cave will help you. I mean, you'd be surprised how many people in the cave, if you ask them a question, the cave is HEC 308. And so they'll help you. Now here's another big one, study groups. So what I'm going to recommend is that you go on Discord. If you don't have a study group now, go on Discord chat and say, I'd like to get a study group of another 3 people, and you get together and you all say, this is what I understand, this is what I don't understand, and you kind of make problems for each other, and you sort of answer each other's questions, because you're going to find in a group, some people are good at one thing, and some people are good at another thing. So I'm going to encourage you to get into study groups. Now is the time you need to do it. Don't wait until like April 15th, which is tax day, by the way, and say, oh, I'm not doing well in this class, let me see what I can do. Now is the time to pick up, okay? Anybody else have suggestions for things that have worked for them? What works for you? I just put you on the spot, sorry. What works for you to learn this stuff? There's a video on Discord, right? So you can someone else records your own thing, audio. Yeah.
Self-studying.
Self-studying. So how do you self-study? Give me some idea.
You can buy the book for the class.
Buy the book for class.
Or find another book online that has to do with Intro to C. Or look some YouTube tutorials up. It's like the New Boston or something.
Doesn't UCF have a free subscription for Lynda, lynda.com? Can you guys can get on Lynda and get courses for free, yeah. Okay, so go ahead and take the book and try to answer the questions, and then you can look them up online, yeah.
I go back and try to rebuild your stuff being fun, like without looking at.
That's actually a really good way to do it, yeah.
Write by hand.
Wait, what now?
Write by hand, so you're ready for the test.
So write it by hand is really good, because don't you find it's really hard when you get to the test, and now all of a sudden you got to use a pen or a pencil to write the stuff out, and you've been using your computer all that time. So yeah, that's a really good idea. Okay, so I want to encourage you to go ahead and use all these things to try to get a really good grade. So that's my. Now we've had problems in here, programming problems where we had like age, weight, height, blah blah blah. We had like these sort of disparate variables, right? These variables were like leaves from a tree, right? What we want to do is we want to pull them all together and aggregate them and kind of glue them together. And that way we just have one thing to think about, not 10 things to think about. So what we're going to talk about today are called data structures. And I did move by the way, I moved your assignment until next Sunday, so you have all of spring break to work on. I know that's exactly what you want to do is spring break. But today we're going to be working on data structures. The purpose, at first you won't understand why we're going to use a data structure, because as with everything else, we always start doing these toy exercises that don't necessarily mean that much, but later on in life, when you get to say CS2 and really more advanced things, you'll definitely understand why data structures are important. But essentially, data structures take a bunch of different things and glue them together into one unified thing. That's a technical term, thing. So we started off with the word struct, okay? Notice that the word struct turns blue in code blocks because it's a reserved word, okay? And then we give it a name. It's just like everything else. Now, this is not a variable name. This is not a declaration. We're not doing a declaration. We're actually right now putting together a template, okay? Think of a structured definition as a template. This is a structured definition. It's not actually, it's not like an integer declaration. All we're doing is describing what our data structure will hold. So let's name it some info. And notice that code blocks, as soon as you do that, open curly, it will give you the close curly with a semicolon. So just make sure you notice that. So code blocks will do most of that for you, but on your test you need to make sure. See how it is? Okay, so a data structure, you got your simplest data structure you'll ever encounter in your whole life. Struct, structure name, open curly, close curly, semi. Now, this might be simple, so we like simplicity, but we also like usefulness. A data structure without members is not going to be very useful. So we're going to say age. Isn't that funny that I have a type? The type is an int. The identifier is age, the identifier of the name is age. But now we can put a bunch of these in there. Age, age weight, age height, int, what else? Let's see. SSN. Let's see, number of puppies. Did you see that Tim got a new puppy?
Yeah.
Tim got, so you know what he's going to be doing over spring break?
Is it also called Tim? Okay.
Samantha, come on. Get it right. Now, notice age was on this line by itself, weight was on the line by itself, height was too. But it's just like when you declare in main or a function, you can put them on the same line separated by commas if you want to. So the same idea happens. Now, I have all integers here, but that doesn't mean I'm limited to integers. I can have a char, name, grades, 100, whatever. You can put any type. In fact, you can even put data structures within data structures. And that actually turns out to be one of the things you'll learn a lot about in CS1. So we can put any types in. Here I have ints, a name or a char array, and an int array. You can put doubles, floats, double, salary, float, IQ. I don't know why I'd have a float IQ, but I do. Okay, so that's the data structure. Now, we can't use the data structure until we declare it, right? It's like, just because you invented this thing called an integer, you can't use an integer until you declare an integer. You can't use a data structure until you declare a data structure, okay? So now let's go ahead and declare a data structure down here in main. The way you do it, you say struct some info. I'll say SI. Usually I do something like SI, shorten it up. Now, the type, I haven't changed any rules. The type is struct some info, okay? It's as if it's an int, or a double, or a float, or a char array, or an int array, or a zippy whippy. It's all the same thing, right? That's the type, and the name or the identifier is SI, okay? Now, here I've got this thing called SI, and SI is like a Christmas. You guys get like stockings on the fireplace? Of course, we don't have fireplaces here in Florida. When I was a kid growing up, we had a cardboard fireplace my dad would put together. I knew though it wasn't real. I kept wondering, how did Santa Claus get down that thing? But anyway, so we had this gift box, right? Inside the gift box is all that stuff up there, right? It's kind of like a fruitcake. You guys like fruitcake? You guys like fruitcake? Anybody here like fruitcake? I'm going to send you mine if I get it for Christmas. I hate that stuff. So it's like fruitcake. It's got nuts and cherries and coconut and blah blah, Brazil nuts or whatever, right? Right? Okay, so that's some info. Now, how do we get to it? It's not like we can sort of unwrap the whole box and take everything out like popcorn, right? We want to keep it all glued together. So there's a special way we access these things. We say SI, and the accessor is dot. Notice when I hit the dot, autocomplete came up and showed me every single of the members of that data structure. So if I say si.age equals 109, si.grades sub 0 equals 4. Oh, I had a bad day that day, right? So none of the rules for dealing with variables change just because it's part of the data structure. If you ignore the SI dot, Age equals 109, you've been doing that since the first week. Grade sub 0 equals 4, you've been doing that for a long time too, right? If you just ignore the SI dot, everything's the same, right? You with me? We're not changing anything, we're just giving you a little extra tool to sort of group everything together. So, I can say, printf, what is your age? Okay, and I can say scanf, %d, si.age. Now what in the heck? That looks weird. si.age. Let me where was that comma? Si, take that. So that looks different, that it's ampersand si.age instead of just ampersand age, right? You got to remember that you almost ignore si dot and treat it just like you always did, right? Just ignore the si dot, because all that means is it's part of si.
Did you treat like si.age as like a matrix itself and have like multiple entries in that data structure?
No.
Okay.
But you could, so I'll dovetail with what you said. I have that in the grades. You can say si.grade sub 0, si.grade sub 1. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, later on you'll find out we can actually have an array of data structures, and then we have multiple. See, so there's this, so you're sort of on the right track. There's this thing, we can have an array of data structures, and in that case you will have multiple.
Okay.
But I don't think I get them for another couple of weeks. Okay, so now I say printf. You said your age is %d si.age. So now it looks exactly the way any other variable looks, except for you got the si dot in front of it, right? Isn't that the only difference, is there's an si dot in front of it? Remember I said if you ignored si dot, everything else, all the rules we've been using this whole time are the same. Now let's go ahead and talk about that grades array in there. If I did something like this, for I equals 0, I less than 5, I plus plus, enter a grade, scanf, %d, si.grade sub I. So now I'm entering all the grades. Oh, yes, I'm entering all the guards. Okay, so I'm entering all the grades. Notice, if SI wasn't in front of grades, we're following the same rules. Remember, you can almost ignore SI in front of these variables, and it's kind of like Wonderland. When in Peter Pan, just make, what did they do? They made a wish or something? I haven't seen that movie in a long time. What now? They believe they can fly. We believe we can ignore SI dots. How does that sound? Okay? Now, same thing. Printf, what is your first name? Scanf. %s. si.name. Oh, well, why all of a sudden do I not use an ampersand on si.name?
It's a character. Yeah,
It's a character array, and we said that a character array was already by reference, so I don't need an ampersand in front of it, okay? Okay, so Jeff, you said your name is %s. si.name, so things aren't going to change. So I got a typo there. this thing actually runs, I might crash, maybe I'm blinded. Wouldn't that be funny if I came in here one day and I just lied about everything? That'd be mean, wouldn't it? But I might do it. You never know. What's your age? 111. You said yours, what is it? Inner grade, 33, 44, 55. What's your first name? Quasi. Okay, so it works. Now, with your permission, I'm going to simplify this data structure. Oh, I got to leave the number of puppies in here. I got to leave the number of puppies. Okay. So I simplified this. Let's just go through and ask the user for information. Printf. What is your age? Scanf. Oops. Scanf. D. SI.age. And I'm going to do a little copy and paste action here. 1, 2, 3. Did I make a mistake? Golly. Age. Who's your daddy? Oh, that's from a song, right? From a song. What's your age? Who's your daddy? Wait, what is that song? I better stop there. Different generations.
It makes you feel better. I know what song you're talking about.
Do you really? That's great. Someone has a lot of memory, or you, maybe it's an inherited memory.
More like my parents forcing me to listen to it.
Nobody has. You're not making me feel good. I'm not sure that helped. SI age. SI dot weight. SI height. SI number of puppies. What is your number of puppies? Let's go ahead and run this, because then we're going to mess with this and change things around. Age 111 still. Weight 5,000. Height 100. I have 0 puppies. Okay. So take a minute to kind of finish that up. Yeah.
So, can you not use the can you not assign the value of those things?
So what I'm going to do is have you repeat the question because it's a good question. Repeat it again, please.
In main, do you need to declare like the variable like SI.age and SI.weight?
No. Okay. It's kind of like up top we define this template, right? Subinfo is the template, right? And it's kind of like it's got. Okay, let's say it's you got a gift with four things. You got a gift box in there, 4 little places in the gift box. So all the struct definition up there is saying, here's my box, and there are 4 things. In main, I said, okay, let me actually get a box to use, okay? It's like I declared the box in main. And now, so you don't need to, that's the beauty of data structures is we can put the definition in one place, we can use this everywhere. So everything, it sort of inherits. In fact, when you get to OOP, object-oriented programming, if you ever get to that, it's kind of the predecessor of this whole idea of inheritance. Yeah.
So would some info be like a template and SI would be like a copy of the template?
Yeah. Some info is the template, and actually SI is really the declaration, or it's sort of what we call an instantiation, for instance. Okay. Does that make sense? Yeah. It's an instance of that particular data structure. Yeah. So the arrow we don't get to for a couple of weeks. There is another way of accessing data structures with a dash greater than, but we don't do that until we start on the pointers. So one day you'll be happy. You don't have to. You'll be looking back with fondness in the days when you didn't have to think about that. Yeah. All right. Struct sum info is the type, right? You know how when we declare variables, we have a type, and then we have the identifier, or the name. The type is struct sum info, and the identifier is SI. So this is what it is, and that's what we named it. Okay?
So you can put something else other than SI?
Sure. Yeah. My ex mother law. It's just an example.
It's to show that it's arbitrary.
So you can call it anything you want. Fred. You can call it Fred.
What did Fred do?
Fred didn't let me ride in his Flintstone mobile.
I agree with it. I agree. Again, two different generations here.
Have you guys ever seen the Flintstones?
Yeah.
Okay. See?
It's a cereal, right?
All right, let's do questions here. I'm getting a little bit slipshod here, since I've got one more class after this. One more class after this before spring break. All right, student questions. Can Tim bring his club in class? No. I live in Miami too. We should go to lunch. Grab lunch together.
Is it weird?
No, that'd be fine. What you should do is, we have our reunion on Saturday night. You should come there and see like this big group of people. It's really fun. We always go to the range on Sunday morning too. If you want to go to the range and shoot clay pigeons, it's fun too. Yeah, we're in Miami. Who is this? Where in Miami do you live?
Where?
Yeah, where? I'll be in the Kendall area.
Oh, Kendall's not Miami. Kendall's Kendall.
No, Kendall's Miami, okay? Will test grades be published? Hopefully sometime Tuesday. It's my fault. I'm not going to blame the TAs. It's my fault. Hopefully Tuesday. Tim's puppy will always be puppy Tim. Is homework due? No, I changed it to the 17th. Jessica, will you marry me? I don't even know. You mentioned that arrays are that was probably like one of those baseball things. You guys ever see people propose in the baseball stadium and they put the thing in a big so-and-so, will you marry me or whatever? I would be so embarrassed if that happened to me. Wouldn't you? But that was probably that moment I just sort of lost by. You remember, you mentioned that arrays are sent in other functions as originals. No, an array is always an original. How is that significant, and how might that affect us if we attempt to send it as a copy? You can't send an array as a copy. You can't. It's always sent as the original thing. How must I pay for a good grade? You have to put in blood, sweat, and tears for a good grade. It just takes work. Please, if you're having trouble with your grades and you're worried about it, come see me during office hours, or come see Tim during office hours, or come see Yoan. Please do not let yourself get too worried about this. We all want to make sure that you get a really good grade. The grades in Canvas have the right proportions between exams and assignments? Yes.
Really?
This is weird.
I had no idea what it was. I was hoping you would
I think you have to resize the box, maybe?
Let's see what it is.
Oh.
You can't.
So the grades in Canvas are accurate?
Yeah. Why would they not be?
Because both
I was
exams
exams
are worth 100 points.
Exams are worth 100 points.
So it's already assignments.
They are worth 100 points. So how much are tests are worth? What, 60% altogether? So what you do is you take the 300 points, right? You average that up, and then you come 60% of your grade.
Oh,
Yeah, I know it's weird, but I try to make all my grades 100 points unless I discount, and then they're not. Yeah, so they're still, yeah, they're accurate. Can you implement the same data structure in main several different times for different? Yes. So you can do the same thing that you can do for integers. So Fred, Sam, Susie, Rick. No, Susie, I misspelled Susie. So yeah, you can have as many as you want. Tim, would you give your Instagram?
You really want to see this puzzle?
What Star Trek movies have you seen? Response from also So you're going to find this funny. I actually don't have a TV account. I don't have Netflix or Hulu or anything. So I have no clue. I haven't seen, yeah. So what's your answer, Tim?
What are the three movies? That's it.
Star Trek.
I don't like Star Trek.
Why Quasi? Quasi is from Quasimodo the Bell Ringer. Ding, ding, you know, from Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Come on, get with it. Can you repeat what SI is for again? I said, I just made it up. I made up SI. I changed it to Fred. Ferd. Can you explain what data structures is again? I will. Let me finish these questions and I'll go through the whole thing again. Can you declare another struct some info? Yes. So what I did was, you might notice I had, or you can put it on a different line, struct some info other. Just like, same idea as an integer. Are data structures global? No. But this one would be global. Some info here. Okay, so it depends on how you declare it, right? It's just like everything about an integer or a double or a float, you have the same rules for data structures. Use a variable. If you use a variable in data structure in int main and some other function would have the same value. Yeah. Actually, I'm going to show you using. We're going to talk about sending them to structure. Why do you use struct again? To glue. You use struct so you can glue a bunch of things together. Like you might have noticed that all of those things. Can you declare int on the same line? Yes, you can. Oh no, you can't declare an int and a char on the same line. They have to be the same type. Okay, so let me go back. Let me clean this up just a little bit here. And here's Fred. Okay, now, why do we use data structures? Notice that this data structure has age, weight, height, and number of puppies, right? So it's all this personal information we glued together. We might have another data structure that covered like capital, state, longitude, latitude. In fact, we do an exercise like that, okay? So let's go ahead and define another data structure. Let's say city information. Struct city info. And what we'll do for this, we'll have char state, capital, float, longitude, latitude. Now see, what we have is we've declared, we've grouped all the personal information together. And we just declare, we group all this sort of city information together, right? So data structure is a way to group like things or related things together, right? We're declaring the personal information, and we're declaring the, yes, sir?
And the structure always has to be above me.
So for right now it does, but most of the time in the programs that I write, I create an H file called structs.h, and then I put that, I include that everywhere, and then it's completely removed. Let me go ahead and do that right now, just to answer that question more fully. And we've been talking about this whole .h thing, so if I go ahead and say sources, new file, let's see, it'll be an H file. let's say structs dot h. Summon. Make sure for debug release. I don't know why it doesn't default to that. Oh, that's the thing I hate about this stupid thing. File. Yeah, it should be structs dot h. Okay, so then what I can do is copy this stuff into my H file. You don't have to do this, by the way. You can go ahead and ignore me for right now and just go to sleep. But I'm doing this because this is a fairly important point. So now my data structure are cleanly out of main, and I just say include structs dot h. Okay?
What's wrong?
I sure did. Is that okay? Okay. Notice the difference between the greater than, less than significance and the double quotes, right? And actually code blocks will protect you if you do the wrong one. It's able to protect you. But I'm going to ask you to do it right because it just gets you in much better habits. So hopefully this will work. Okay. So it compiled 444 puppies there. So now, so to answer your question, we took it, we conveniently, this is a really good use for a .h file. It's off, and it's not, remember how sloppy that stuff was up above, and you know, it's kind of muddled everything up, so now it's gone.
And the location of the H file is dramatic.
Now, code blocks will put it in it'll put it in a special location for you. It'll figure out the location. So I had to, for some reason, I'm running off of that flash drive, so mine doesn't always behave. Yours, you should have that problem that I had. So there you go. Now, let's go ahead and create a function that says display personal information. Struct some info fr. And I'm going to doll this up just a little bit and say age equals weight equals height equals puppies equals. Now, in order to call that, all I do is I say display personal information. Notice it's the same idea as when we give it an integer or we give it a whatever. And I will tell you that we are passing by value. I will not be able to talk about passing data structures by reference for a couple of weeks. Okay, we can pass data structures by reference. So if we make a change inside of display personal information, since we're passing it by value, it will not be reflected back. Okay, you guys with me on that? I will teach you how to pass a data structure by reference, but not today. Yes.
Should it be fr.h instead of fred.h?
I knew someone would ask that. Oh. I just wanted someone to ask that question, but all of this stuff needs to change, right? FR. There you go. Are we good now? So it doesn't matter this name and this name up here, so except it doesn't matter that the printf and that parameter don't match. Yes.
Wouldn't it have worked either way, but not necessarily what you wanted to do? Because
I
it's
don't
still.
understand.
Oh no, because
Fred's local
Fred's
to
local
Maine,
to Maine. Okay, yeah.
and it's like my bedroom and my brother's bedroom. And I was really glad enough that I could see inside his bedroom. Okay. All right. Now we could make this global up here. And if we made it global, we don't need to do this. And then all this has to go to Fred. If it's global, everybody has access to it, right? Now it's in the kitchen, so everybody can get access to it. So this is going to work. We got to get rid of this down here. So now it's in the kitchen, so everybody has access to it. Okay. So this is global. Now, I'm going to show you something that's going to cause a problem, or it should cause a problem. CodeBlocks might fix it for me, it should. What about that? Remember we said that C is forward-looking, right? Right? So, display personal information doesn't know that there's a global some info named Fred, right? That should be a problem. I'm not sure. CodeBlocks, I don't trust CodeBlocks to throw the errors it's supposed to throw. Yeah, okay. The CodeBlocks found the error. Why did CodeBlocks throw that error?
Because you declare it after it's.
Because I declared it after it's trying to use it, right? In C, we have to always declare stuff before it tries to use it. Okay? So that's why. So by doing that, I made it inaccessible. Now if I do this, it's totally accessible. Yes?
If you wouldn't have moved the struct up there, if you had it below there, if you just had the prototype for display personal information, and then you actually define display personal information at the
It
bottom.
doesn't work quite. If it was a function, then the answer would be yes. But we don't have prototypes for these for like a data structure. Oh, we do.
No, I mean a prototype for display personal information, the function itself. The function that you're using to get Fred, age, height, weight, height.
Like if you had a prototype of that at the top and then the function below where it was.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So let me go ahead and do that just to show you. So if I did,
With the struct below the prototype.
be fine. So here's what they're asking. If I put that there, and then this was only a prototype, and this was like down here, it would work fine. Yeah, be fine. Yeah, I thought you were asking about a prototype for the data structure.
No.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Doing the reference when you have Fred, you go into that, can you use alpha, like numeric characters there, to be like Fred 01, Fred 02, Fred 03?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it's just like any other variable name. You can't start it with numeric, but you can put a numeric somewhere in there.
Why is it broken?
So you can do. So you can have for different purposes like. You can find this way. Okay. All right. Any other questions so far? Let me look at your homework so I can make sure I'm answering any questions for your homework.
Actually showed what sum info is.
I know you'd like that. Let's take a look at your
He
homework.
has the sum info in another
It's
file.
been over a year since I wrote this homework, I think.
So what do I do then?
Move the struct sum info at the very top.
Okay.
Yeah, that whole thing.
Oops. I had to change my password, didn't I? See, you guys are flustering me.
That's bad. Someone get $10
They make you
grades
change your
on
password every 30 days anyway. Or 60. That's the first time I've done that. Wow.
It's okay. It's not like anyone's recording.
Discord now. Or will be like really soon. Don't worry, I'll change
censor
before
it.
that.
I don't feel like editing.
Oh, here we go.
It's fine.
So let's see, you can do this first one, right?
The last one.
Is it the last one?
Yeah.
Correct information, contact information. This is it. Is this it?
Okay.
Create a function that displays the information that was entered into the data structure. Does it say what the data structure is? You must have a data structure for personal contact information. declare one of your contact information data structures locally made. And what does it need to have?
You need
First name, last name, city, state, zip, phone. Is that right? Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. Struct. Personal info. Okay, what was the first name? Char, F name, L name, char, city, state, zip, phone, no zip, I misspelled it. Zip. Char, phone. Okay, so that's the data structure, right? That's all we got to do for the data structure. All right, now, to declare that data structure, let's just tear up all this fine work I got here. Personal information, PI, you can name it whatever you want. Printf, what is your first name?
You have to ask that from within the function.
Do I need to create a function?
Yeah, I think you need to ask for the information from within the function.
Yeah, that's what it says. You have to create a function.
Did it say that personal information needed to be global? What did it say? I'm going to make it global. For your assignment, go ahead and make it global. And we don't know enough to send it by reference. This is why I'm going to make it a little void. Get personal info. Printf. What is your first name? Scanf. %s. PI. F name. And then you can do the rest, can't you? Do I really have to do this for you? So first name, F name, L name, city, state, zip, right? Then what's the next part of the assignment? Yeah.
I just have a question. So you can put numbers in the chars. So for like the char phone, you can put numbers into it, the char.
In the structure? What do you mean?
You have a character array for phone number, and he's seeing if it's okay to have numbers as an input in a char array.
Yeah, yeah. It treats the numbers as actually characters. Yes, sir.
Do you need struct in front of personal info there?
Oh, yeah.
Unless you're like type deafing it.
You do. Sorry. Now someone's going to get an F on their paper and they'll blame me. They'll blame me. There you go. Sorry about that. Okay. What was the other one? We need a display. Display. Personal information. Printf. Your name. I don't really know what the assignment is. I'm just making this up now that I look at it. PI.FName. PI. Name. I think you guys can do the rest of this. So let's see. Get personal info. Display personal info. Right. I know I didn't write it all, but is anybody else have any input? I think that's the assignment. Yes, sir.
So the zip and phone number has to be parts.
You could use, the thing is, how big is a phone number? 10 digits, 9 digits? 10 digits, right? How big is 10 digits? Is that, how many billions is that?
It's 10 billion.
Yeah, if it gets to be more than, say, 2 billion, it would overflow. And let's say also your zip, you could put in like a zip 4, it would have a dash in it. So you probably want to take a character array. Okay, yes, sir.
So on the homework, it says to declare the structure in name. Do you want us to just do it locally? I mean, globally?
Yeah, go ahead and do it globally. Can someone put that on Discord? Can someone throw a note on Discord for everybody? Of course, the losers who aren't here now probably aren't going to look at Discord, but go ahead. Can someone, can you go ahead
A
and put
note
that?
about what?
To go ahead and declare the data structure globally.
Yeah, sure.
Don't tell them I call them losers. Of course, that's the first thing you guys will do out of Discord. You call them a loser because you won class. Yeah,
So you can declare the struct in main.
you can. However, you run into a problem since right now you don't know how to pass the structure as by reference. So, yes, sir.
You said to do it globally as opposed to what?
Declaring it inside of main. In a couple of weeks, we'll declare it in main and we'll be okay. But I haven't taught you how to pass it by reference yet. Yes, sir. Yes, I have to teach you pointers first before we can pass a data structure by reference. Yeah, so so I have to spend a week or two teaching you pointers first. All right. Let me do one more round of questions. And one more round of questions. Refresh. Oh my goodness. You guys can sit.
I'm very surprised they found my Instagram. That's what I was more surprised.
Is that really your Instagram?
High school, first of all. High school, I mean. Explains a lot. High school.
So SI is like a variable name or an identifier. Go to Arcade, Odyssey, Kendall. That place is great. I may just do that. So actually, we'll be, you know where Tamiami Airport is, whoever is asking this? We'll be out by Tamiami Airport, actually, which is pretty cool. Me and my friends, we actually, this is so funny. I used to work at Tamiami Airport when I was 16 and 17, and I had a key to the building, and every once in a while we'd go out at night, we'd take out planes when nobody was looking. I had my pilot's license, so it didn't really matter. I wasn't going to crash, but that was like this magical high school existence. Me and all my friends, we worked on cars, we raced them, we flew planes. I am so lucky to be alive. Where's your office again? HEC 357. Can your TAs fix the homework grade for you? Yes. Tim will fix them all. He'll just give you an A on everything. Can you put parameters by the struct name like in functions? Yes. Oh wait, I'm not sure I understand that question. Anybody clarify that question?
I think you're asking, like, can you pass parameters into struct?
No. In other languages, you can. Later on, this is an old language, so you can. But in other languages, later on, you can. Can you show us how to print a string from the data structure? I sure can. Right there. So this is printing pi.f name. That's all it is.
That's
Just
scanning.
remember, what now?
That's the scanning. You probably need what's
Oh, here we go. PI F name, PI L name, okay? So that's all you have to do, okay? You know what? You guys got to get Yo on some questions too. You're giving Tim all this attention. We got to have some for Yo on. Will we ever be tested on headers? Maybe. Tim's dog. Why do we pick on Tim so much? Because he's so nice.
I'm so nice to you guys. You don't get picked on.
All right. Any other questions? We're going to wrap up a couple minutes early because it's almost spring break. Yeah.
What's your stance on type defing structs?
What now?
What's your stance on type defing structs?
See you guys. I'll answer your question now.
So I used to use type defs every time.